Hello, and today I'm going to be answering my creative critical reflection task number 1. First of all, I'm going to be comparing Gone Girl with my opening titles. In Gone Girl and my sequence, the male protagonist shows tenderness towards the female character, a contrast from the traditional representation of men in the media. In both films, the main characters are both Caucasian. In both sequences, they use a close-up on the female character, exposes their vulnerability to the male characters, adhering to the stereotype of women being weaker than men. Both male characters wear dark clothing, which is a convention of the genre. We have extended this convention by also having the female character in dark clothing. The use of a long shot duration increases tension and allows the audience to digest the finer details of the set. Gone Girl also features low-key lighting, but also features some natural lighting, so it is not as dark as our product. This shows how our product adheres to the genre's conventions, and Gone Girl challenges this convention. Both women wear dresses highlighting their femininity, also bearing more skin, making them appear exposed when compared to the male characters. It conveys how women are expected to present themselves in a pleasing manner. The next film I'm going to be comparing is Gerald's Game, which was released in 2017. In Gerald's Game and our sequence, the female protagonist or character is bound and tied up, meaning she is no longer responsible for her actions, handing over the responsibility to the male character. The female character screams to be let free from the ties and handcuffs. Screaming is emotional and reckless and is stereotypical of a female character. This may be to convey how women are restricted by society's expectations and should willingly give up control to their male counterpart. This makes the audience pity the female characters and hope for their escape, providing an aim for the narrative. Again, we see the female character in a dress with spaghetti straps, so you're able to see exposed skin, but this time in Gerald's Game, the male character is also in a similar state of undress. In Gerald's Game, they also use a cyclical non-diegetic soundtrack, using the sound of a clicking of a clock instead of piano chords to convey the passing of time and increase the intensity of the atmosphere. The last and final film I'm going to compare my sequence to is The Basement, which was released in 2018. This also features a male protagonist who is obsessed by religion and forgiveness, having tortured many people. Female characters are both white and brunettes, typecasting the stereotypical British American woman. In The Basement, we see the male protagonist torturing a character who is tied up in the basement, which is similar to our sequence. By having a character tied up, they are defenseless and weak, forced to submit to the other character. Another similarity is the supernatural presence. Our sequence has the monster lying in wait in the corner, but for The Basement, the monster is within one of the characters. The fact that it's set in a basement is scary because so much noise is deafened by the thick concrete. Next, I'm going to be looking at representing social groups and issues in my opening sequence. The first social issue I will be looking at is in regards to gender inequality. By having the female character introduced to sleep in a state of vulnerability with her hands tied, conveys that the male character is stronger than she is. This is heightened by the high camera angles she is filmed from, making her look smaller. This is also enhanced by her dress, which is stereotypical of a female character, and the spaghetti straps make her look exposed. The soft, warm candlelight makes her look ethereal and fragile, conveying to the audience that she is not as strong as the male character. The male character has clearly tied up the female character, so she is defenseless, which is an antisocial and degrading act. The female character is also scared into silence by the male character, which may convey to the audience that he has previously threatened her off camera. The lack of dialogue means the non-diegetic soundtrack is at the foreground of the mix and intensifies the atmosphere with the neoclassical genre. The setting of the basement means other people are unable to know or rescue the female character, conveying to the audience that the male protagonist understands what he is doing is wrong, but continues to do it anyway. In our opening titles, there is a lack of older age representation, which may convey the negative views of an older audience of young people. I also think by having the male protagonist portrayed by a young adult conveys the atrocious abuse he suffered as a child and how it impacts the actions he performs today. By having the male protagonist obsessed with religion and forgiveness conveys how he is looking for a greater power to rid him of his misery. Age is also conveyed by the characters' costumes. The all-black outfit is modern and difficult to be worn by all the characters on the screen, as it can make them appear washed out. Age is also shown by the female character's ability to move from lying down to kneeling with her hands tied. This may convey that she is athletic and able-bodied to the audience. There is a representation of both genders in my opening titles. The female character has more screen time, conveying her importance to the storyline and the male protagonist's life. The male character is conveyed as being strong and traditionally masculine through the opening shot of his appearance focusing on a knife. This shows that he is displaying antisocial behaviour and using his physical power to threaten the female character. The lack of dialogue conveys that he doesn't want to be vulnerable in the presence of the female character. His shirt and cargo pants reinforces stereotypically masculine representation. This is a fairly realistic negative representation of the male gender, whilst the female representation is somewhat positive and realistic. This is because we show the female character struggling and fighting in long shot durations, showing that she is a fighter and is battling against the fate that awaits her.